You're listening to Inside Saudi,
a podcast exploring life, culture, family, and style inside Saudi Arabia today.
We're Carly and Vesna, two expats that have come to Riyadh with a lot of questions.
And we're sharing the answers, one conversation at a time. Welcome to episode 2 of Inside Saudi. Last week we talked all about our misconceptions about what Saudi Arabia would be like versus what it actually was like. This week we want to get into more of like the nitty-gritty of why we decided to move, some of the transitions we made, like leaving careers or leaving families, and
changing from a career-orientated woman to being a stay-at-home mum.
We're going to get into it all today. To start, we wanted to dive into like the moment we decided, the moment this came up and we were like, Saudi Arabia?
Okay, so we were on vacation and my husband said, look, I've had this job offer. It's in Saudi. And I was like, whoa. This is full on. I wasn't sure what to expect. And I wasn't sure if it was real. Because when you get pinged for these kind of things, you never know if it's, a real opportunity or not. So he was kind of like, let's just sit on it. Let's finish our vacation, go home.
Where
and
were
then
you
we'll
on
talk
vacation?
about it. We're in Europe.
Yeah.
So he said, let's just finish what we're doing, enjoy the rest of the time, not stress about it now, and figure it out when we get home. So that's how it all started.
Was when he says that, do you know that like he's going to do it, you're just not going to talk about it yet? Or is that like a real, like, we're just going to discuss it later kind of thing?
No, I know we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're that kind of couple. We just bounce off one another, have been very supportive during his whole career. So we've moved quite a bit for his work. So I knew that once he had brought it up with me, it was, let's do it.
For the first bit of when Matthew and I got together, it was a bit of a push and pull. Like, I guess because I was doing my thing and he was doing his thing. I definitely wasn't the supportive wife. I'm becoming that more now.
I think I've been more supportive than I think a lot of other, friends and family would have been. But because we've been together for so long and since a young age, you kind of grow together and you mold as a couple. So I'm one of those people that is like, let's just do it. Let's jump in and see where it takes us.
Yeah. Basically for us, it was almost exactly a year ago. So we were at a work conference for Matthew's work. He had just kind of joined this company. We were in Amsterdam. I was pregnant with our second baby, and he was at this party for his work, and he texted me and he's like, oh, they're opening an office in Riyadh and they're like seeing if anyone would be interested. And I think he kind of said it jokingly. And I was like, is there like an option for you to go? And he was like, I don't know, probably. Like, probably, yeah. I'm pretty new here, but I bet I could. And I think he was kind of thinking it was a joke, but I was in this hotel room in Amsterdam with Violet, pregnant, and I was on my phone, and I started like looking up what Riyadh was like, because honestly, I'd never heard of the city. Like, I'd heard of Saudi, obviously, but I didn't know that Riyadh was the capital. I didn't know anything about Saudi. So I started like looking at it on my phone. And I actually found one influencer here. Her name's M. Dolly. Did you look at her before you came? M. Dolly.
No, I didn't.
She's Australian as well, like maybe like definitely younger than I am. But she was posting some stuff and I was looking at it and I was like, it looks like you can pretty much lead a regular life there. Like she seems to be doing all the things I would want to be doing, like going to Pilates, getting her nails done, like going to nice coffee shops. I'm like, I feel like this is potentially could work. And that was all based on seeing a couple videos from this one girl. And so I texted him, I'm like, no, I think I'm interested. Like, I would do that. Because obviously he said it's tax-free there as well. And literally that night, because of that, he went and talked to the guy who was opening the office and was like, I think I'd be interested. And then it became like a thing and we did it. Off of that.
I love it.
Yeah. And then after that, it took a long time for things to, like the real contract to come in place. But we kind of were moving as if it was going to happen because we knew that it probably would, like 99%. but the actual contract and all that kind of stuff took ages. How was that process for you?
Yeah, it was a really long process. But I think a lot of things are here. They want to make sure that they're doing all the security checks and making sure that everything is done correctly before you come here so that you don't have issues later on, which I think is really good because you don't want to be coming here and then having to leave and having to do things over and over again. So I think doing it properly the first time is always a good way.
How long before you actually moved here did you find out about the opportunity?
Probably 8 months.
And so did you jump right into like finding schools, finding the place to live?
Yes.
So you did
So that
all.
was me. I
Yeah.
just jumped online and I thought, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And just looking for schools, places to live, just exploring all the different options that were available and seeing what I would like. I thought if I was happy that everyone would be happy, considering that my husband would be at work, getting into it and straight away making sure that everything was done properly.
I feel like, so we found out it's September, and then it didn't feel real until I think around January, because that's when we started to get, in contact with the actual people doing the contract and stuff. So there was a long period where it felt a little bit like limbo. And prior to that, we were looking at selling our house and moving. And so kind of everything got put on pause and we were like, okay, we'll just wait and see what happens. I was working full time still. I was fully pregnant and I was just kind of like, I remember my husband and I would go for these walks and we would just discuss all the possible scenarios. So we'd be like, maybe we'll go in March and maybe we'll need to get our daughter in school by then but maybe we'll go in September. And we would go through all these different scenarios of how it might go. And it was kind of making me go crazy because there was like 100 different scenarios because we actually knew so little. We didn't know how my work would react because I was going to be potentially on maternity leave, or maybe I wouldn't be. Maybe I'd be just about to go on maternity leave. We didn't know when his contract would come. We didn't know like what would be a good time for our daughter. There were so many unknowns. And so we just were like, whatever, let's just see what actually happens and take it from there. You guys like similar, or was it?
We were, and we kind of had a timeline in our head. Like he knew when he was leaving, which was in March. And the plan was for him to be here for about a month and give us leeway to come and him to settle into his new job so he wouldn't have to stress over us as well. Being the male, you want to, make sure everything's okay. So we had planned everything, went to get our visas because in Perth, you can't get your visa. You have to fly to Canberra. So we flew to Canberra.
How long of a flight is that?
Oh, I'm going to lie to you now, maybe 4 hours.
Yeah.
I was by myself with the kids, went over there, went to finish all our paperwork and hopefully be coming in a month. And then they said, oh, sorry, your son's passport number has been put in incorrectly in the system. Oh and gosh. I just looked at them and I thought, wow, what do we do? They just looked at me and said, we're really sorry. And I went for a 24-hour trip and I thought, can this be done in 24 hours? Do I need to extend? Like I can do that. I don't want to keep flying back and forth with 3 kids on my own. And they said, look, sorry, you can't do it from here. It has to be done back in Saudi. It has to be finalised in their system and then you can come back. So they said in about 7 days, it will all be finalised. So I flew back with the kids and kept, packing and doing what I was doing, thinking, yep, it's coming soon. 4 weeks, 5 weeks later, we get a call saying everything is done, the system's been corrected, you can come back now. You have an appointment tomorrow. And this is today lunchtime, 1:00. There's only one direct flight to Canberra and there's no other flight. There's a midnight flight, so the red eye, and you leave midnight and you get there like 3-4 a.m. So I thought, okay, but then you had to stay over. So we had to go through Sydney. So Perth to Sydney, Sydney to Canberra, which was even longer. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, book the flight. The kids came home from school, gave them something to eat. And I said, we're going to Canberra tonight. And they were like, really? I'm like, yeah, we've got our appointment tomorrow morning. It's all done. We're going to get to see Dad soon. So they were all excited, literally packed like a backpack because we're going for 1 day for 24 hours. get in the plane, get there in the morning. We're so exhausted, didn't get a hotel or anything because I thought it's only a quick trip. We get there in the morning, we go to the office, we get everything done. We had to get our fingerprints and our facial recognition done. And we get there and they all kind of looking at me awkwardly. And I thought, oh, what's wrong now? But then I tried to be optimistic and just not think about it too much or overreact. And they looked at me and they said, the details are still incorrect in the system. And I thought, wow, take a deep breath, don't react, because
Oh my God.
I'm pretty good like that. I don't react to a lot of things and I just try and process it internally. And I thought, how can this be resolved? This is my second time I've coming. The kids are exhausted now. It's like 11, 12 p.m. We had to be there for 9 a.m. to get our visa done. And I thought, what can we do? And they just looked at me and they said, nothing can be done. You're going to have to come back again. And I thought, okay, but there must be something you can do. And they just looked at me and said, look, wait here in the office and we'll see what we can do. So they got in contact with everyone that they needed to get in contact with, I guess. And they needed approval to do it from Canberra. And in the end, they ended up getting the approval.
Oh my gosh.
After a whole day.
That's insane. I think that's the thing. This is why you do need kind of agency support. And we had that for our visas. I mean, to be honest, I'm still on a tourist visa here. And so we're going back to the UK to sort it all out. We decided to do it like that so we could all stay together. And then we'll go back to the UK and we'll get it sorted. So I'll keep you posted how that goes. I hope it goes well, but I'm a bit worried because I have a Canadian passport. Kids have British passports. I'm just worried that it's going to be complicated, but we'll see. Everything has to be done on this side in Saudi, and then everything has to be done on the UK side. And there is a little bit of unknown that everything is nothing's getting lost, no details are being missed, because if one little thing is wrong, then they will decline it. And you have to do the Saudi part here and you have to do the not Saudi part in the other countries. And so it's a little bit scary.
It is. And we only had one digit wrong in a passport number. And you would think, they can go into the system, they can just easily change it. But it's actually not that easy. It's a lot more harder than what you think.
Yeah. I remember when I came from Canada to the UK, that was simple. I guess it was just me, so there's only one person's details. But that was very, very easy. It's when you're moving to a country outside the Commonwealth, there's a lot more to it. And Saudi is very thorough, for sure.
We also did go through an agency, but it didn't turn out as planned.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on your situation, and things get lost in translation. And because there's so many policies and procedures that they have to follow, things do go wrong.
Yeah.
So when you're coming over, don't overthink it too much and things will go wrong.
Potentially. I think also double check all the small details. We have had an agency, but my husband has been so on top of them and they have missed details, but he's caught it, or somewhere in the process, he's, been calling this person and that person to make sure they have everything they need. And they're like, oh, whatever, your wife's middle name is not on here. And so he's caught things as we go.
Yeah.
I think you need to be definitely on top of it. Don't just leave it to an agency. But like you say, I think even with all of that, things might go wrong and you'll just have to go with the flow. We've come over on a tourist visa because my husband got his Iqama a couple days after we got here. And then once he gets that, then you can get a family visa appointment in Saudi that he has to be at physically here. And then we can have our appointment in the UK. And so the appointment here can take quite a while. And so he got here and got this whole process started on as soon as we got here. And I think it's taken about 6 weeks to actually get the appointment here. So it did take a good chunk of time. For us, it's been fine because we have our dogs back in the UK. And so we've had someone watching them. They're skipping the long, hot summer here. And then we'll all go back in a couple weeks and we'll all come back together with the dogs. So it's been fine as long as nothing goes wrong while we're over there, which he's optimistic. So we'll see.
And I think on a positive note, you're all together while you're waiting for this process to pass. So, you know, you're not doing the long haul, long distance, and the kids still get to see their dad every day and be part of it. And actually,
In our first podcast episode, we decided I say like too much, and apparently Vesna noticed that she says actually too much.
I say actually too much.
So now you can all pick us apart.
Yeah. And your process that you've gone through is different. So you've come here waiting for your visa and going back home, whereas we came here with it all completed. So that was kind of the end game. We wanted to come here and have everything sorted. Being from Australia, we didn't want to travel back and forth because you need to leave the country to go back to your home country to get your visa.
And how long's the flight for you?
14 hours, I would say.
Yeah, so that's not small.
15 hours, yeah.
15 hours. So our flight back to the UK is 7 hours. And so that's much more doable. And the time difference is only 3 hours. So that's much more doable for us versus, you know, I have a 3.5-year-old and I have a 6-month-old. And so I just didn't want to be at home in the UK alone for all those months. And we also were really trying to tie it with the beginning of the school year. So I felt like we're in a new country, starting in a new school. I just want to make sure she starts with all the same onboarding as everyone else. I don't want her to be coming in a month and a half late. And so that's also why we did it this way, like stay together and she can start school on time. How long were you away from your husband?
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, 2 months.
That's
So the plan was to come after 4 weeks and get the kids in the last term of school, and then we would all go to Europe on vacation. Well, me and the kids would go. And obviously didn't turn out like that because of the visa issues. So they lost that whole term that I thought that they would come, they would settle in, they would meet friends, and that they would feel like they belong here. And that was really important to me. But it didn't happen like that. We ended up losing that whole term. We got here probably a week before term ended and the summer holidays kicked in. So that didn't go to plan, but it's okay. We ended up going on summer vacation, coming back, and they started the new school year fresh.
I had to juggle this super complicated situation of I was pregnant, I was working, and I just needed to navigate that with my work. I didn't know what we were doing either because our situation was if we stayed in the UK, we needed us both to work, like to afford all our bills, like we needed both our incomes. And if we were leaving, I no longer needed to work. And so I didn't want to leave my job until I knew for sure this was happening, like contract in hand. So I was trying to navigate quite a few things. And then at the same time, we needed to find a school and find a place to live because you can't do that like a week before you arrive. In the end, we just kind of did it all at the same time, and we assumed it was just all going to work out. There were so many unknowns in my scenario. It was like I needed to have that conversation with my work and see how we were going to navigate that. I needed to do that at the very end. We didn't really want to tell Matthew's family until we knew for sure we were going because that was going to be like a lot of heartbreak for them. And then we needed to sell our house. We kind of did all of those things that I just mentioned at, I guess, the last possible minute when we knew for sure we had a contract. With the schooling and the housing, we came and we did like a tour and we explored just to see, and we did end up doing a down payment and like reserving a compound. And similar with the school, we like chose a school and we decided on it, and we figured if we don't end up coming for some reason, we'll just lose that. And so that's how we did it. And now we're here. And it all worked out. Actually, every single element of that has worked out. Like, nothing went terribly wrong. We sold our house. It actually just sold. It went fine with my work. They were, you know, most workplaces are going to be supportive. And so they were supportive. You know, everything else has worked out. So as long as I get my visa now, we're good.
That should be a breeze.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's move into like what it was like to actually tell people we were leaving. I don't know, I guess like not even just that, but was it emotional leaving for you?
It really was, because I'm so close with my family, especially. I thought, how are they going to take it? my mum's like my best friend. We live on the same street. So I know taking the grandchildren away from her was breaking her heart. So I had that emotional burden on me as well. So it was hard. It definitely was. But I had to be the stronger person. I had to be the one that made it feel that it was okay. Like, you are going to come visit us and, you know, we're going to make more of an effort to make this work long distance.
That is so sad. Like, because I've never had that. It's what a lot of people wish they had, is like the mom who lives on their street, whatever, can help with the kids all the time. Like, it's pretty rare. So that is really sad.
It is.
Yeah.
And it makes me emotional thinking about it, because I know even now when I speak to her on the phone, you can tell that she's not taking it lightly, but she's trying to be strong for us, because she knows that it's an opportunity of a lifetime. But then I'm on the other end being strong for her as well.
Yeah. Is she gonna come visit soon?
She will. She's always got her bags ready and packed to come and visit. And I feel the last week I just wanted to emotionally and physically detach from my house. You know, all the build up, all the hype of leaving, it was kind of all the emotions kicked in. I was nervous, I was excited. Some days I'd be angry because I just don't know what to expect. So the last week I was like, let's just get this out of the way, move out, pack everything. And we actually moved in with my parents for that last week. So the house was, I didn't have to worry about it anymore. I am such, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I get attached and into things. So detaching from the house was definitely a good idea. And I felt that we got to spend that last week with my parents. I knew I didn't have to pack anymore. I knew all the suitcases were ready. It was just juggling the weight.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Very different for me because I don't have that much close family anyway, and I've moved abroad already. So it wasn't that. I did feel really bad for leaving my husband's parents because we live like close-ish. Violet would see them once a week. A very different scale, like to what you went through. But yeah, they would see her once a week. They really enjoyed seeing her. She really enjoyed seeing them. So that was really sad, and one of the saddest parts for sure of leaving. I feel like in the weeks leading up, like we were all together, and so it was just like selling so much stuff, getting rid of so much stuff, because we knew we were going to try to sell the house, and so we just wanted to unload as much as we could. And so we were just in like full on, I don't know, selling line mode. Like, just, I remember I had like my iron out, I had like a clothes hanger out and like a photo setup, and I was like posting so many clothes for sale, posting so many like different things for sale, posting so many toys. We were going to the post office like 10 times a day with armloads of packages, and I was posting things in like, by the end, like cereal boxes, like insane packaging, just trying to get rid of stuff, and like I don't want to throw it all away. And so I would just sell things for like £1 online and just see if anyone would buy it. It was so busy in the lead up to leaving that we almost didn't have time to be too upset about it. And we had my husband's parents over pretty much every single day, like to take care of the baby or whatever, so that I could focus on packing stuff up. And so we didn't move in with them, but we had them over every single day. And yeah, and then we just kind of ended up at the last day where we sold our cars, like we sold everything. And my husband got like a big van to transport all our luggage to the airport. And then we just like left. And it was kind of weird because we left the dogs in the house because somebody was coming to take care of them and stay at our house while we're away. So yeah, we just like left and then bye. Like,
And I think once you sit in the aeroplane and, you know, you board the flight, you kind of like, wow, it's really happening.
yeah.
So that's when you start, you know, all the different emotions. And
My feelings were a bit like, I feel like we've offloaded a bunch of stuff and a bunch of baggage, and I feel good about it. And we're kind of like stepping into a new life, and it's a very rare opportunity. And I'm mainly excited about it, and uncertain about a bunch of things. But once we were actually on the airplane, I felt pretty good, I think.
I sold so many things, got rid of so many things. And being a Virgo, you like to declutter. So it was definitely a good feeling for me. I also know that when you keep things, if it sits in a box, you're never going to go back to it, let's be honest. Like usually most of the time, you don't need it. So just get rid of it and start fresh. And like you said, you get in the plane, the kids are excited, they're emotional at the airport. It's, you know, your emotional goodbyes and you know you're leaving and you don't know for how long. But once you get in, the kids were like, wow, business class, you know, business class lounge. And, you know, we get a flat bed and we get pajamas. And they were so excited that it kind of took their mind off things, which made me feel a lot better.
How nice would it be though? I'm trying to convince my husband's parents to come over and like, because I haven't really had time to fully get the house in order. I haven't even bought plates and cutlery and stuff. And I would love them to come over, mainly his mom, and just like help us sort stuff out here. No, she would be the best woman for the job.
And it's spending time with you and the family as well. After 2 weeks of being here, my mum flew over with my sister-in-law and the kids. So we spent about a week and a half here exploring, which was good for me as well, because I don't think I would have actually gone out.
Yeah.
If it was just me, I would have been stuck here in my little zone trying to set everything up, but it forced me to get out and explore. Then we obviously went on summer vacation. And when we got back from summer vacation, we got back on a Friday and my brother flew in on a Saturday to surprise me for my birthday. And a conference he had to attend. So I feel like I've seen everyone and everyone's visited except for my dad.
Aww.
But my dad doesn't like to travel, so I don't think that he will come.
Yeah.
He's more of a stay-at-home kind of person, likes to look after the house and just...
At least your mom is comfortable traveling without him though.
Yes.
To what you said on decluttering, at some point, I think my husband said something about like getting a storage unit in the UK to store a bunch of our stuff. And from the start, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. If we have to store it in a storage unit, we're never going to pick it up again. And I think that's the cliche. Like people get a storage unit and then never see their stuff again. So I was never going to do that. Like even we're going back soon and I'm just going to sell all our nice furniture and stuff because whenever in 5 years time, when I don't know, buy a house again and want to have it furnished, I'm just going to buy new stuff. So all of that stuff I'm going to sell. Even the winter stuff I kept, like I will be so selective what I bring here. So we didn't ship, I think we said in the last episode, like we didn't ship anything over. We all just brought suitcases. And if you're in the similar situation, that's what I would do. Like you can go down the road of looking at shipping companies and stuff. But when I did, it was like 10,000 pounds to ship kind of your stuff over, and you really can just buy it new here. Everyone told me that advice and I didn't listen. I went down this like long kind of trail of trying to find ways to ship exactly what I wanted to bring over, and honestly it's just not worth it. Just buy it all here. Bring what you can in your suitcase and buy the rest here.
Yeah, I agree with you. And just going back to the whole, you know, decluttering and letting go of your furniture, the style, fashion, interior, that all changes. So in 5-6 years, you may still be here, but your furniture's still there and no one is going to want to buy it. So get the money while you can. And also moving here, we didn't even look into shipping our stuff over, to be honest. It was just, let's sell everything, let's come with 2 suitcases and start fresh.
A lot of people on my social media ask me about tips and logistical things about like the visa process and moving and all those logistics. So we thought we would just get into that, like any tips that we have basically. The number one kind of thing people ask about is shipping the dogs over. So what I've heard and what we're going through, and it hasn't happened yet, but what we are doing, because our dogs don't fit on the plane, like they have to go in the undertow or whatever, the best way to do it is to ship them as cargo. So they won't be flying on the same flight as us. They won't be in the cargo section of our flight. They will actually go as like manifest cargo, I think it's called. And we have an agency helping us do it, a very reputable agency in the UK. And they have a very reputable agency in Saudi that helps them, because I would hate for something to happen to the dogs. It makes me really nervous. They're older, but they've never flown. And so I'm super nervous. They've gone through a lot of change the past couple of weeks, but I think it'll be okay. But that's what a lot of people have asked me about. And then a lot of people have also asked me about, like, once they get here, will they be happy? I mean, that's TBD. All I can say is the weather is getting really cool and nice out, and I can definitely see that we'll be able to go for good walks once they get here, so I'm excited. But that's how we're doing it. You know, they had to get all their injections and vaccinations and all that stuff like at least a month before travel. So they're all up to date. There was a very particular thing in that they have to have their vaccinations written down on a piece of paper. Like you can have the card or you can have it like online with the vet. So you have to have the card. So we had them revaccinated for a few things. But that's like a big question I get.
I would probably say get an agent, do it stress free. I know there are other logistics that come with it. You have to keep on top of it and always be contacting the agent and making sure everything is done properly and just checking over. Like us, we had those few little hiccups. But do it so that you don't have an extra worry to think about, I guess.
No, I agree, because I think there were points where I was like, can't we just do it ourselves? It seems pretty easy. But I think what you forget is that there's the UK side or the Australia side or wherever you're coming from, and then there's the Saudi side. And on the Saudi side, then you would need to get translators, all these things.
Yes. Everything needs to be verified.
And so 100% for every single step, whether you do decide to ship stuff over, if you're getting dogs moved over, for your own visa, I would 100% get professional help. I wouldn't have trusted myself to do it. I did it myself moving from Canada to the UK. I would never do it myself moving from the UK to Saudi, that's for sure.
And it's also a long process. So you could probably, I would say 6 months is probably the least that you could get everything sorted.
We actually did it pretty quickly, like, because we didn't get our contract till, let's say, I think it was beginning of August. And in the UK, we did our medical, we did, got all the passport photos we needed. We did anything that we could get done. All the dog vaccinations, we actually got it all done pretty quick. I wouldn't recommend that, but that's what we did because we wanted to come for end of August. And then now in Saudi, we got all the stuff we needed done over here. So all the Akama related stuff my husband had to do. And then he'll get all the like family visa appointments here. And then we'll go back over and we'll finish it and we'll be basically done. One thing to watch out for is what we've heard is things can get lost in the mail. So you want to use like a reputable mail agency. Like I've heard DHL is really good.
Yeah.
It might cost you more, but if you're shipping like visa documents over, I would spend more to get those shipped over. Or if you know someone coming over later, just send them with them.
I agree. I've heard a few stories, and I've also heard that it's very similar in price as well between, DHL and the other courier companies. So I'd rather pay that little bit extra and know that it's going to get here.
100%.
Another thing I wanted to ask you was you did mention medicals, which is interesting. I did a medical, but my kids didn't do a medical. Did you have to do a medical for the kids?
No, I don't think the kids had to do, well, they didn't have to do one, and I don't think they will have to do one. We just had to give like all their vaccination records.
Yeah.
I had one question from someone saying, do your kids have to be vaccinated to go to like the international schools? I think for hers, she did.
I think so as well, because they did ask for that information.
Yeah.
But I also did see on a few different forums, depending on which country you came from, that's why I'm asking you, is that some kids needed a medical. So I know my kids are a little bit older, but coming from Australia, they didn't need one.
No, from the UK, they didn't need one, but that kind of stuff is really expensive. So I think these are all things you definitely need to verify when you're coming. If you're coming with a job, I think it's good to ask a lot of these specific questions, and you won't know them all up front, but are you going to pay for all the visa related costs? Because they do stack up. Like the medical was like £400 for just me. So the costs really stack up.
So what's included and what's not included in part of the relocation?
Yeah, because there's also visa related costs like dependent fees that you have to pay, I believe, on a yearly basis once you're here. So it's like, are you going to pay those? There's a lot of different things that you need to think about.
Entry and exit visas.
Yeah. I made sure with my husband's company that I have a visa where I can enter and exit as I need to. And same for him, because it's not just are you a woman, you need to get your husband's permission. It's you need to get your work's permission. And so we didn't want to be in that scenario. So we made sure we had the right visas. Why are you laughing?
Well, my scenario is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So my visa, I need his approval and the kids need his approval to leave, which isn't a big deal because if we need to leave, he's fine with it.
Yeah.
But just going to Europe, I had my sister-in-law, my mother and the kids here, and they'd all gone through customs, and there's us waiting, giving our passports, and they're like, sorry, you can't leave. And I just looked at them and I was like, oh, what do you mean I can't leave? Well, your visa approval hasn't gone through from your husband. So he told me when we were on the way to the airport, let me know, send me a text when you get to the airport and everything's okay because I need to jump into a meeting. And I sent him a message and I was like, everything is good. And then the next minute I can't get through customs. So, calling him 4 or 5 times and messaging him and saying, you need to answer, it's really important. And it was the click of a button. It took him like 5 minutes to just go log online, click a button, and it was all fine. But you can get stuck in those scenarios, and you could, some people may be scared or worried. It's nothing to be worried about. It's all online. So it can really be done super quickly.
That's good. It's good that the things that need to be done quickly can be done quickly. This is something that comes up, like women, I get this in the comments. You can't leave the country without your husband's permission. I guess on some visas that is the case. So, I mean, it's good to know that these are the different scenarios. I haven't tried to leave yet, but I do know that like I specifically have a visa where I don't need anyone's permission, but who knows?
And I'm not sure if it's because you're a tourist and I've already got my Ikama, like it may change afterwards.
It's a different type of visa apparently.
Okay.
Or not a different, I don't know. I don't know. Don't quote me on it, but I do know that I've asked specifically and there are different like things that you can get, I guess, basically.
There's a lot of options. So just clarify what you're getting so you know in advance. Either way, whichever one you have are totally fine, but just know what you have so that if you want to leave, if you're planning on going somewhere, that you can be organized in advance.
Totally. It's totally different for sure. But I mean, when I leave the UK, I personally, because I have different last names to all my children, I need to make sure I have like their birth certificates, our marriage certificate, all these different things. So, it's never simple when you're leaving with all your kids. At least for me, it's not. So,
and it's just an extra security measure at the end of the day.
But I mean, overall, it's like, I think the big decisions are, will you split up as a family or will you stay together? Because you will need to do one or the other. You'll either need to go my route where you did the tourist visa and you have to go back to your country and sort out your dependent visa, or you do your option where you split up as a family for a bit and then you all come together, but it's all sorted. If you have dogs, you need to decide how you're getting them over. Similarly, you need to have an Ikama. And so that's why we decided for the dogs, we split up and we'll come together again.
And in the end, it all falls into place.
Yeah. And then I think the other big thing is just what to pack, what to bring, how to get things over. And I mean, our tip there is
pack light. Everything can be sourced and bought here very efficiently.
And then the last thing is, I would come on a trip before and find your compound. I mean, you didn't do it that way.
No, we chose our compound online through WhatsApp and video messages. The compound wasn't even complete. It was still, construction mode. It's definitely something that I actually don't mind that we did it. That it's all come together. I'm happy with our choice.
You guys acted quickly and you got a really good deal too.
We did, and I'm really happy with our apartment that we've got.
Like when we were thinking about moving, we saw the compound but I didn't know. I had to see it in person. We could have got a really good deal if we did it like how you did it, but we came and saw it in person and whatever. It took longer for us to decide. But if you are in our situation where you won't have your Ikama sorted when you come, a lot of compounds do hotel stays. And so I think that's a good option too. If you are going down my route where you'll come and you'll go back to your country, you can do that for the first however long you want. You're paying a higher rate, but you can do that.
Most definitely. And you get to experience the life in the compound, and you can see whether or not you actually enjoy it or not, whether your kids enjoy it, whether it's got all the amenities that you want. And if you're not feeling that you're vibing it or it hasn't got everything you want, you just go and you just view a few other compounds, I guess.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you really like and enjoy, then you just stay on.
Yeah.
And you kind of already feel at home.
Totally. I think that's pretty much it. Like, if you have any other questions, just put them in the episode. Like, you can comment them. You can comment on our social media. We'll answer them. And this has been...
comment, subscribe.
Yes. Honestly, leave a review on Spotify. Leave a review on Apple. At least rate. Give us a rating if it's 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, don't. On YouTube, if you want to see the full video, anything like that, any comments, we just love. Like, we actually genuinely love.
We've also got a TikTok and Instagram, which we can link below as well.
Yeah.
So come and have a follow.
Yeah, follow us. We post like fun content on our socials. Okay, bye.
Bye.